the grief, the times when there's nothing to do but to cry, and to cry deeply. And those are the times when I feel closest to her. And so I just have to let that speak for that entire breadth of, 63 years of marriage, 3 years of courtship. It's a wonderful trip. And not that long ago, 4 or 5 years ago, pre-COVID, we had returned from a bike ride across Iowa, a big bike ride. We had a family group going. We had my 2 boys, Mark and Matt, and my brother Richard. We had joined Ann from Grand Rapids was with our group, but also Nancy, you're recording this. Oh, Nancy, Debbie's cousin from New York City. She joined us. And after the ride was over, it's a week long, and during that time, Nancy was getting acquainted with our family. And we get back to Big Route, in this case, we were in East Lansing. And we were gathered around the island in the kitchen talking. RoseAnn was there. And Nancy says, I'm curious, how did you 2 meet? And she turned and looked at me and said, was she just the cutest thing ever? And I thought, well, it was more than that. And it was her presence in a group that got my attention. I had met her twice. For the first time, I would say, I remember distinctly, but it was unremarkable. But the second time, we were on a group of University of Northern Iowa student leaders in the residence hall. We were down on the campus of Iowa State University for a student conference. And I think our contingency from Northern Iowa, she enrolled there a year behind me. We were in the parking lot. I think, as I recall, we were waiting for a tour bus. And something came up, I would say a college-age thing of a personal nature that impacted her in a way. She wouldn't want me going into details, but trust me, she was affected. Okay. Yeah. And I can tell Mary later. I'll tell you all about it.
Oh, Mary, no.
But she stepped in to that situation, and she hit it with a one-liner that just addressed the situation, made it over, and ready to go on. And that one-liner was like a bonk on the head for me. I said, wow, I need to get to know that person. There it is. You never know where it's coming from. And so, yes, the following year, I looked her up, found her, got a Coke date out of her, and then a 7 date. Yeah.
Back in those days.
His mind cannot be trusted. Even before the cancer diagnosis.
He doesn't have microphone privileges. Don't give the microphone.
You see the milieu I live in? Yeah. So I was thinking, the one-liners, I've experienced some one-liners from her, and observed some one-liners she dealt with others. One was our 50th wedding anniversary, and we were going to England to celebrate the anniversary with a tour of Scotland. And I would say 2 weeks, 10 days before, we had a disagreement of opinion. It was a little marital rough-up, if you will, for lack of better terminology. And of course, you know, I usually had no way out of that. And this time I just turned and said, you know, what are the odds that we're going to make it to our 50th anniversary? And she said 50-50. You know, I buy lottery tickets. The odds are long, but it's only $2. But I had $12,000 riding on a 50-50. Those things that was a showstopper. Another we were, this didn't involve me, but we were in Big Rapids, we're buying a car. We're Ford Motors, and I know some of you know the players at Ford Motors. This was, we're looking at an Explorer, a nice, it was a nice, it was the Eddie Bauer model. Nice car. In fact, it sort of felt like the full court press to sell that car to us when the owner steps in to help the salesman complete the deal, and the owner brings in his wife. He tells us, he tells RoseAnn, you got to come see this car before it leaves the lot. So his wife was keyed up to come in, and so we go in, and his wife's there, and so they can talk this car one-to-one, salesmanship, full court press. And when you have a buyer at a certain level, I think it's salesmanship 101, when you have a buyer at a certain level, you'll see if you can take them up a level, right? And so he says, RoseAnn, you'd look good in Lincoln. And her response was, Bob, when the price is right, you'll see me in Lincoln. Where does he go with that? Okay, let's talk Ford. That was dandy. Another one, we had tickets, while we were in Big Rapids, we had tickets for a Spartan Christmas game down here. And they were playing Princeton. And if you know anything about Princeton basketball, they don't recruit the high-end, the speedy, the slam dunkers, whatever. They play a very methodical game, and they try to keep the score under 50. And after that game, RoseAnn was asked, what do you think of Princeton? And she said, I'd rather watch Fred read. So she gave 100% to whatever she undertook, just, in the depth of all of her activities, she gave it her all. And I was recently reading a self-help book. In fact, I thought just came to my attention about a week and a half ago. And I thought, maybe I could use a little self-help now, and so I got the book. And this person, actually written by Wolverine, who was coaching Wolverine athletes. But the theme, one of the themes he used for these high-end athletes who are having trouble with themselves, basically, was give 100% to whatever you're doing 100% of the time. And I thought, RoseAnn had that figured out. She had that figured out before I ever met her. And so, it's funny how some things just blow you away. There it was in print, and it was her. But sometimes that sense of responsibility or happenings goes over the edge, you might say. And if, let's say, take a situation. It's March Madness tournament, and the Spartans are they need a win to get to the Final Four. and there are 5 minutes ago, you know, the lead is going back and forth, and the tension couldn't be higher. So, well, what do? Stick it out? No. You watch the game to the end, or do you hit the streets of Poconos, dead, you know, it's 8 degrees out, wind chill's less, the streets are vacant. Do you hit the streets because you just can't take the tension in the room? Well, that was RoseAnn. She was out on the streets, listening to the cheers coming from the moans, depending on the happenings. She lived her intensity. It was on the cuff, and it was always right there, regardless of the situation.
Fred, she had a partner in Jim Van Acker.
Yeah.
She had a partner in Jim Van Acker.
Yeah. She had a partner in Jim Van Acker.
Oh yes,
They go out together a lot.
yeah, that she did. Yeah, she wasn't out there alone. Another member of our group company. So yeah, but she was safe. But nevertheless, so we come to this point in our lives. You know, we were two small town Iowa kids making our way in the world together, using education to bootstrap ourselves in whatever way we could, and her bent for achievement just spanned all of the activities that we were ever engaged in. And I know we have some people who have remembrances that they would like to share. We've had 4 people arranged, and then I know some of you would like to share from where you sit. And we have 2 microphones, and Debbie and Natalia will get a microphone around to you. But first up is Duncan Sargent. Duncan has been